everyone. Patty Fields here. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to share another dream that I had, which I think that you will find very helpful to you and what you're experiencing right now in this world that we are currently living in. Many of us have personal and there's collective changes going on where it might feel as if you're in a little bit of a time warp or what's happening, you can't even keep track. You want to try to keep your feet on the ground and try to stay grounded, but things are moving so fast. So I received a dream that carries a very strong message about spiritual expansion and about how our consciousness, when it expands, it creates this ripple effect of a sped up timeline, or you could say where time collapses. But it also goes into how that actually affects things in our 3D world. And I wanted to just share a quick some of the main themes of this dream that you are going to be hearing and receiving information on. And then I'm going to go into the dream and I'm going to talk about the dream, but I'm also, as I'm telling you the dream, I'm going to pull out all of the important symbolism and what that means to us right now in our everyday life. So let's just talk briefly about the themes that this dream presents to us. So the first thing that it presents to us is that our life changes and divine synchronicities and timelines are all speeding up, right? So maybe that's something that we're aware of. And maybe we felt it, but now we can see with the dream symbolism, it's really happening and what that actually feels like in living our everyday life. And also what actually feels really far away is very close. And it's like when time collapses, it's like if you're on this point in time and you have to go to here to this point in time to get something to meet up with, what is meant for you. And we talk about time collapsing. It's like it collapses literally, and the meetup point is actually here faster than we um, first feel that it is. So that's a hopeful part of this dream, hopeful message. And the also another point is that your timeline is not on the collective timeline. So the collective timeline might feel as if we're going through molasses. It feels very slow and arduous. It feels as if there's all these complications and there's all these blocks, and we're not really moving fast enough in the direction that we want to go. And this dream tells us that our timelines are very individualized. And even if the world at large seems to be moving slower through some of these 3D world consciousness energies, that we are not subjected to that we can actually move faster through things than the collective. So that's a very helpful message. Another part is that we have everything that we need internally for the journey, for where we're going, for what is meeting us, for what is meant for us. We have everything that we need. Okay, that's another positive. And the thing that this dream really talked about was how our soul families are coming together. So the parts of ourselves that maybe we've been trying to reconnect with. So, our human self and our spiritual self, and we're trying to reach and connect to the essence of our spiritual self. It could literally be like real soul family people that are coming into our lives that are meant to reconnect at this time. So this is happening now, even if you don't feel like it is. This dream is telling you that it is. Um, and also, we're entering into a time or a period or a phase where time actually bends. It's like, the bending of the spoon and with your mind, some of those magical or like, well, how did that happen? That defies the laws that we live in. So is time bending, right? In this 3D world, time seems to go linear. and it seems to have 24 hours in a day. And this dream talks about we are entering into energies where time actually bends. And I'm looking at my notes to make sure I covered everything. And the last thing I pointed out, I pulled out of this message was that you're stepping into timelines that actually respond to your soul, not the clock, not the world, not what's outside of us. It's actually like a magnet where our soul is drawing closer to what is meant for our soul, and that we're stepping into this timeline that responds to the needs of the soul. Okay, not the necessarily the separated mindset of our needs, which our human needs are always taken care of in this whole expansion. But it's also this sense of something within us, something deep within us. We'll call it the soul. You can call it anything, a higher self. It is magnetized toward where the soul has always been going, wanting to go, desiring to go, and where that is and what it wants to experience, it's magnetized toward that experience. Okay, so these are amazing messages. I love the dream. I hope you'll stick around to listening to the dream, because I am going to pull out some very, very important symbolisms that the spirit is telling us to help us to latch onto these ideas and then apply them in our everyday life. So stay tuned for that.
Hello, everyone. Okay, I did the intro, so now you're here to learn about the dream, and I'm very excited to be sharing this with you. And as I said before, I'm going to tell you how the dream, but I'm also going to weave in the messages as we go. In the dream, I'm driving to a restaurant in another town to meet my cousin. And right away, this sets the tone. Driving always symbolizes self navigation, moving toward a new frequency of life. And a town is a state of consciousness. So, driving means we are consciously navigating a shift, not passively being carried. My cousin lives in Pittsburgh, which in real life is 4 to 5 hours away. So, this journey begins with the idea of something far away, something that normally takes time, effort, and planning to reach, something that is moving toward me but takes time to meet up. And cousins in dreams often represent soul family, aspects of yourself you're connecting with, a parallel version of you on another timeline. And Pittsburgh, being 4 to 5 hours away, is significant because it symbolizes a part of your life or identity that feels far away, a version of you that required a long linear time to meet up with, or healing or reconnection that formerly required effort or delay. So as I'm driving, I suddenly realize my water bottle is a quarter full. And here's the symbolism: water is spiritual nourishment, intuition, the fluidity that keeps us connected to our higher selves. But I do have a bottle, even though it's only a quarter full of water, but just a little water, yet I feel completely calm because I think, well, it's fine. I can refill the water bottle when I get there. So, this is the first message. You don't always need to bring everything with you. When you trust the path, the next stage will provide what you need. Spirit doesn't ask you to be full, to have everything. Spirit just asks you to be willing. So I arrive at the restaurant and glance at the time. It's 11:30 a.m. and somehow I'm 2 hours early. I have no explanation. I just got there faster than should be possible, and I have no idea how that happened. And that's the second message of the dream. When your soul is aligned, time collapses. You move into your future faster than the mind can understand. And what used to take years suddenly begins arriving ahead of schedule. So I walk into the restaurant and every table is full. The place is buzzing, packed with people all eating at the exact same time. It's like they all arrived and ate on some kind of synchronized schedule. And then something strange happens. All at once, the entire restaurant empties. Everyone stands, leaves, and the building goes still. And this represents for the collective that everyone moving in synchronized cycles, in predictable patterns and schedules, is the world that's doing things at one rhythm. But I'm not in that rhythm anymore. I arrived outside the collective timing, too late for the early sitting and too early for the next sitting. So I asked the owner, well, when will there be another seating? And she says, I don't know. We just do what works for us. So this is spirit speaking directly. My life is no longer running on rigid schedules. I am stepping into a phase where things happen according to alignment, not appointments. I am no longer meant to live by the rhythm of the collective clock. I leave the restaurant thinking that I need to find a new place to meet my cousin. I step outside and sit on a bench. And this detail matters. I'm not upset. I'm not anxious. I'm simply in acceptance. This calmness is the third teaching. When you trust the process, you don't fight with timing anymore. You don't panic when plans dissolve. You know that something else will align. I decide to text my cousin and tell her I'm already there and ask if she could possibly leave now. And I ask myself, I wonder, how long will it take for her to get here? So I open the GPS, and this is the moment the dream reveals the deepest message. The GPS says 1 hour, not 4, not 5, 1. I check again, I zoom in on my phone, and I can see the starting point, the ending point, and the blue line between them. The distance is literally shorter than the actual distance, or what I believed the actual distance is. So the meaning of this is a version of you that once seemed far away, emotionally, spiritually, or vibrationally, is now much closer than you realized. This is the collapse of linear time. This is what it looks like when your spiritual timeline pulls your physical life forward. What once felt far away, emotionally, spiritually, practically, is actually so much closer than your mind has been telling you. The dream is showing a truth many people are waking into right now. This reflects a state where linear time is no longer the governing dimension of your evolution. You're beginning to live from a more expansive, soul-timed rhythm where the sequence of events follows alignment, not minutes on a clock. When you shift into a higher frequency, time reorganizes itself around you. You arrive early, distances shrink, the waiting dissolves, life meets you where you are, not where you used to be. So the closing message is this. This dream was a message about spiritual acceleration. It shows that we are stepping into a timeline where things come together faster, smoother, and with less resistance. Where you don't have to drag your old identity with you, where you don't have to carry everything you need, where what felt far is suddenly near. Where you're not running on the collective schedule anymore, but your soul's. If you've been sensing that time feels strange, that things are speeding up, or that certain outcomes are arriving sooner than expected, this dream is your confirmation. You're entering the part of your life where time bends to meet your alignment. And now, if you're interested, you can keep listening because I want to further explore the dream symbols and their spiritual meaning. So if you're interested in dream symbols, you'll want to keep listening. Basically, I've talked about the whole dream message, but I'm always fascinated by spiritual meanings of our dream symbols. It's a wonderful way for the spirit world to communicate with us. So the first spiritual symbol of the dream I love numbers, is the number 1130. So 11:30 a.m. So 11 is a master number, intuition, awakening, initiation. It also can be considered a doorway into the higher self. And the 30 is a completion of a cycle, creative rebirth, even the Trinity, body, mind, and soul alignment. So 1130 as a whole means you've reached an initiation point where your intuitive self and your physical self are aligning into a new cycle. Now, arriving 2 hours early. So, being early symbolically means your consciousness has arrived before the physical world rearranges. Your soul moves faster than matter. You are living in your future timeline already. It also means you are ahead of schedule in your spiritual progression. The next symbol I'd like to highlight is the GPS. So I love this, seeing the true spiritual distance. So my surprise at the GPS and what it was showing me is a breakthrough moment of the dream. For me, the GPS is higher guidance or soul navigation or even the blueprint of your optimal timeline, because I literally saw a blue line, and the blue line was shorter than expected, which could mean the path that you're on is much more direct and much easier than your mind believes. And this is an instruction from your higher self that you've outgrown old narratives of long journeys. Things will manifest more quickly than you expect, and physical reality is catching up to your spiritual level. So, in 3D terms, delays will dissolve, synchronicities will increase, and outcomes will arrive earlier than forecasted. So I will leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed this dream as much as I did. I love the way the Spirit can communicate with us through these wonderful symbols and to reveal to us a very important understanding about what we might be sensing or feeling and how that can actually look in your life. So watch out, like stay aware and see how this message is showing up for you. So thank you for tuning in. I look forward to being with you again.